Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Happy Wednesday. Today is April 9th, 2025. I'm attempting to light some sage, but it appears as though my lighter is almost out of fluid. So, that being said, I hope everybody's having a positive, productive start to your day today. If not, I pray that your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and of course the Most High help you with that. I also pray that He clothes us in His armor from head to toe, that He strengthens our discernment and guides our steps as we go throughout this day. There we go. Burning some sage this morning. I already burned through my first stick of Palo Santo, so we switched it up to the sage. We're halfway through the week. I hope everybody rested well. Hope you got a good night's sleep. We talked about that in our video yesterday about making sure that we get a good night's sleep. I woke up this morning ready to declutter. I have a lot of clothes that I have to go through that have just kind of been piling up around the room. So, we all have those certain things that we just put off, and mine is clothes. Unfortunately, I gained a lot of weight over the winter time, and so a lot of my clothes don't fit anymore. And I'm dreading going through them and trying them all on because I know the majority of them I'm going to have to get rid of. But it is what it is. You know, starting spring off with a new thing, going to try to introduce some new herbs and remedies to try to help me with the weight loss. I will be sharing that information on my other page. There's links to that page on the community posts. It's Harmony Haven Holistic Healing. It's where I post my yoga and my herbal medicine and stuff like that. So, that being said, we're going to get into it. Happy Wednesday. We're going to start out with a morning mantra card. I have had my coffee this morning, but I cut it short at about half a cup and went ahead and made my tea. First, I'm starting with the lemon ginger tea and then the elderberry echinacea tea. I think I've talked about that on this channel a few times over the last year or so about me, kicking the soda habit, drinking healthier stuff. The tea that I'm drinking this morning is still the tea bags, but I've been working with building my collection of loose leaf herbs to do the loose leaf tea. Another thing that I want to bring up that I don't really talk about this stuff on this channel very much, but everything that we find in medicine today is a synthetic version of things that you can find in nature. So one of the things that I've recently been introduced to for my ankle is comfrey. And I did some research on it. And it is 33 degrees where I'm at. It got cold last night. It got below freezing. But comfrey, I did some research on it, and they used to actually drink it like a tea, but they found out that it causes a lot of liver damage, but you can still use it in salves and wound treatment. So a friend of mine actually brought me some salve yesterday to use on my ankle. So I'll let you know how it works. I put it on for the first time last night. Make like a plant and grow toward the light. Flower and repeat. We got this one last week. Towards the end of last week. Growing towards the light means getting further away from the darkness. We're going to kind of change things up a little bit. I'm not going to go in the same typical order that I normally do. We're going to get a crystals card. Anyways, it seems to be the theme of the week. Purging, letting go, making room for the new, getting rid of the old, doing some self-reflection. If you didn't get to do it this past weekend, I very much would encourage you to do it this weekend. You know, it is spring season, which technically spring is the new year. You know, when they changed our calendar and did all that mess, they messed up the seasons as far as on our calendar. But technically, spring is, you can call it spring equinox if you want to. But this is the new year. Time to, you know, make a plan. We talked about that last week or at the beginning of this week. I don't know. My days are kind of blurring together as far as the videos go. So I definitely want to encourage that this week, this weekend, you know, whenever you get the time. But as we talked before, sometimes you have to make the time. All right, we got 2 this morning. Serpentine and heliotrope. We got heliotrope last week. Bravery, strength, and perseverance. Heliotrope is also called bloodstone due to its red spots of hematite. I don't know how well you can see these pictures with the reflection, but there you go. And then serpentine, intuition, desire, and transcendence. Crystal fact, serpentine can be found under the ocean and in places that were once submerged beneath long ago seas. Very green looking. I don't know why it makes me think of dinosaurs, that color green. But nonetheless, we will look these up. I haven't been doing that, but I want to start doing that because different stones have different properties. They have different qualities. So, and I was hoping that these cards would have that information on them, but they don't. So I may end up having to get a different crystal deck. It's a variety. Heliotrope is a variety of plasma gemstone and the traditional second birthstone for March. The name heliotrope comes from ancient Greek words meaning sun and turning, possibly referring to how the red spots make the stone appear to change color in the sun. Bloodstone is a relatively soft stone, ranking around 7 on the hardness scale. All right. The benefits of heliotrope. Heliotrope is believed to offer physical and emotional benefits, including strengthening the immune system, promoting blood purification, fostering courage, self-esteem, and grounding. So there you go. Eating healthier, you know, as far as the strengthening the immune system, promoting blood purification. You know, we talked about that the other day about drinking water, you know, purifying your blood, detoxifying your system. That kind of goes with the tea as well. The lemon ginger tea helps do that. All right, and then we have serpentine or serpentine. Known for its green, brown, or spotted colors and used as an ornamental material, as well as a source of magnesium. Um, Serpentine stones have a relatively low hardness, typically falling in the 3 to 6 range on the scale. They use it in carvings, decorative carvings, jewelry, beads. It is the state rock of California. Okay. Wow. Also, believed to promote balance and transformation. It's thought to offer physical benefits like aiding detoxification and supporting the liver and kidneys, as well as emotional benefits like soothing imbalances and reducing stress. So, the thing that they have in common is detoxification. Also believed to help alleviate diabetes and hypoglycemia. Sometimes used to alleviate symptoms of chronic illness. Can support the function of the liver and kidneys. Believed to have a cleansing energy that can help detoxify the body and the blood, potentially aiding in the removal of parasites and bugs. Wow. Excuse me. That has been a high topic of conversation here lately is the parasites, detoxing your body to get rid of the parasites. Wow. Okay, so there you go. Soothes emotional imbalances, reduces stress, promotes balance and transformation. All right. I'll put those up one more time. Heliotrope, Heliotrope. And then serpentine, however you want to say it. Serpentine, just in case you want to look those up. I know I talk about it often. Amazon is a great place to find stuff like that. Amazon isn't just for big companies. There's a lot of, I guess, what you would call mom and pop shops that have moved to the online industry, and you can find them on Amazon. And they have like their own little pages where you can go to, and it'll show you all the inventory that they have. That makes me want to share the name of the company that I've been getting my tea from, because I have been getting my tea on Amazon, but I've been buying it through a Frontier Co-op. I've been buying, it's a, little mom and pop place. It's not like a big company. Frontier Co-op is the company that I've been getting. Go on, Copper. Go. 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 Go on, get out of my room. Thank you. It's a little, they do tea, they do seasonings, they do all kinds of different herbs and stuff like that. So Frontier Co-op. I'm not using their tea this morning, but nonetheless, I still felt the need to acknowledge them. All right. Because we've got our sage going this morning, I'm not going to light an incense, but we will still pull a chakra wisdom card. That being said, I was on Amazon last night looking at new decks, and I did find a new chakra deck. I'm not exactly sure if I ordered it though. I know I put it in my cart, but I don't know if I saved it for later or if I ordered it. Yes, I did order it. It's supposed to be here Friday. Tori Hartman's Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. The complete spiritual toolkit for transforming your life. So when we get those, I will probably retire these, or at least I won't use them as often. I talked about it in one of my past videos about starting to, weed out some of the older decks. A lot of these Chakra Wisdom cards are already on my shorts, where we've pulled them so often. Nonetheless, and then I am going to get back in the habit of working on my yoga channel and doing the yoga myself. So that is something that you can look forward to seeing updates on the community tab. And I have yoga cards as well and body weight exercise cards that I pull just like I pull these cards. I ordered that deck and I ordered another one as well. What was the other one? The other one was herbs. The herbal astrology oracle. Pocket-sized portable version of healing oracle deck that connects the energy of the stars above us to the plants growing from the earth. So we should have those by the end of the week. All right, we got third chakra, solar plexus, personal power, and second chakra, sacral chakra. I am not a mentor, or I am a mentor, not a rescuer. We've seen that one recently. I think we've seen both of these recently. I'm going to go ahead and read both of them, seeing as I'm not going to light the incense. Personal power. I choose to be myself and to express my truth. I have a positive influence on the people and the situations around me. I allow my integrity and confidence to shine, which instills more confidence and belief in myself and encourages others to have natural confidence in me. I do not allow my personal power to become egotistical, manipulative, or exploitive. I am a mentor, not a rescuer. I avoid continually sacrificing my own happiness for others by rescuing and enabling them, as doing this may hinder personal growth for both of us. We talked about that just the other day. I choose not to be a martyr. I am a mentor, not a rescuer. I do not assume that everyone wants my opinions and solutions to their life challenges. And if I am in doubt, I will ask them. I take responsibility for my own happiness. So that goes back to what we were talking about the other day about making choices based on what's best for you, not what's best for somebody else or what somebody else expects of you. All right, we'll get a grief affirmation. Being that light for others, but also being that light for yourself. It is perfectly okay to admit you're not okay. Yes, I encourage you to admit that you're not okay. Even if you can't admit it to others, admitting it to yourself is a step in the right direction. Now I lost track of what I was going to say. Sacrificing yourself for others. There's a fine line, and you have to be careful because there's a fine line between helping someone and enabling someone, including yourself. We're all human. All right, we're going to get a wild offering oracle. This is probably the other deck that I will retire for the time being. This one and the chakra deck once the new decks come. change things up a little bit. Feelings. I think we saw this one the other day. We didn't actually pull it, but we saw it. Emotions want to be felt. You really can't surrender something until you deeply feel it. Allow me, dear divine, to offer all emotions to you, feeling them fully so they no longer hold me captive. Whatever those feelings are. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's depression. So many times, when we pull ourselves out of whatever that is that we're feeling, we think, a lot of us have a tendency to think that that's it, we've overcome it. But life will put us through tests and trials and tribulations, and that will come back. So it's important to find positive, productive ways to help yourself deal with whatever that emotion is. For me, I have a tendency to get overwhelmed and depressed. And so, one of the things that helped me in that process was starting this channel. All right, we're going to get a celestial insight, and then we'll get an angel number, and then we'll get a namaste card, a stress less card. Grand Rising, happy Wednesday. I pray you're having a positive, productive start to your day today. This is the first time you're coming across one of my videos. Please know that I have over 600 videos here on YouTube, from prayers to daily devotions, affirmations, encouragement, motivation. Most of the time there's some hidden knowledge in there, So, if I could get a thumbs up, that would be great. If I could get a subscribe, that would be even better. Of course, appreciated, but not expected. This is a judgment-free zone. We're here to encourage and uplift each other, not look down and judge each other. Barrier maze. Twin flame on the bottom of the deck. Patience on the top of the deck. Barrier maze. Confusion may feel overwhelming, but remember that every maze has an exit. You might be struggling with difficult problems, but shifting your perspective could reveal the solution. We just talked about that earlier in the week, about looking at things from a different perspective. Sometimes, yes, it can offer a solution. And even if it doesn't offer a solution, it may point you in the direction of a solution. Barrier maze. All right. Sometimes we get stuck in such a specific mindset, whatever it is that you're dealing with, we can overthink things so much that we make something that should be simple complicated. Just like, those, which I know it's not very common anymore, but like those mazes that you used to get in school where, it was on a piece of paper and you had to use the pencil and find yourself out of the maze. Sometimes, you sit there and overthink it, and you find the right way in the beginning, but you think, oh, that's too easy. It's got to be more complicated than that. And so you spend time trying all the other ways before you come back to the original thought, and that ends up being the solution. That can very much be the case in life. trusting your initial instinct, not overthinking things to the point to where you don't trust yourself. All right, let's get an angel number for the day. 1212. Yesterday we got 1414. Today we got 1212. Choices, decisions, stability, caution, focus, future, priorities, clarity. That goes back to talking about decluttering, getting that quiet time, focusing, thinking, making a plan. The universe advises you to act with caution. It is important not to pursue all your ideas at once. Instead, make a choice and focus on the option that will provide more stability for your future. What were we just talking about with the maze about making a choice? Sometimes we overcomplicate it and the answer is right there in front of our face. What choices do I need to make now? And which option will offer the most stability and long term benefit? Take time to evaluate your options carefully. List the potential benefits and risks of each choice, so pros and cons, and choose the one that aligns best with your long term goals and provides the most stability. When we think of stability, we think of like our finances, our home, our vehicle, stuff like that. But that could very easily be applied to like our physical health as well. You know, eating all that junk food may be fun at the time, but I saw a video the other day where the woman said that food will be good for about 15 minutes and then you'll be fat for about 15 years. It really kind of brought things in perspective for me. Needless to say, I haven't been doing a lot of needless snacking, which thankfully I've pretty much already broke myself from that habit. But especially when I'm having to prop up my ankle and I can't really do anything and I get bored, for whatever reason, when I get bored, I either want to eat or smoke. So boredom is not good for me. Which, I've said it for a long time. Idle hands are the devil's playground. An idle mind is the devil's battlefield. An idle body and mind, that's like a grenade. It's gonna explode. It's just a matter of time. All right, we're gonna get an Animal Allies bird card. Like I said, we're changing the order up a little bit. The monotonous of doing them in the same order every day, I can't handle that really. And then we'll get a Namaste card. I think I said I was going to do that next, but I just automatically grabbed the bird deck. So here we are. Happy Wednesday. I guess in our area, after this little cold snap, we're supposed to get some nasty weather this weekend. Penguin again. And Cardinal. We've gotten Penguin before. We just saw it the other day. Penguin and Cardinal. Penguin, dreaming, astral projection, adaptability, family, using standard skills in unusual ways, community, innovation, and persistence. Penguin wisdom, there are always ways to find new uses for established skills. Repurposing the familiar to make something new is a good use of effort and time. When the penguin appears, pay attention to your dreams. Practice trying to direct them before you fall asleep or when you're in a luminal state. The very same skills needed for directing your dreams can alter your waking life too. What penguin wants you to know? It's possible this whole life thing is all a dream. Make it what you want it to be. We talked about that because I shared the memory that I have with my grandfather, where my great grandfather, where he told me, this is all just a dream. And when we die, we actually wake up. And honestly, to this day, I don't know if that is an actual memory or if that in itself was a dream. I believe it was a memory, but honestly, I don't really know. All right, Cardinal. Cardinal superpowers. Romancing yourself, confidence, fresh starts, determination, emotional encounters, and deep conversation. Cardinal wisdom. Messages may come from anywhere, even from loved ones who've transitioned into the soul world. What was I just talking about? To tune in, sometimes you just need to go sit under a tree and listen. Birds are considered to be messengers from the other side. When Cardinal appears, listen to the small voice inside your heart. What does it long to hear in this moment? What message would feel supportive to you? Repeat it out loud to yourself and see what magic happens. Ooh, that's making me tear up a little bit. What Cardinal wants you to know? Pay attention to signs and omens right now. You may find meaning in something as simple as seeing a flower or looking to the skies. Trust in what makes its way to you. That goes back to last week with the turkey feather. The place that I found this was literally by a busy highway. And right before I found this, I found a $20 bill. How often do you find a $20 bill just laying on the side of the road? And then, not even 20 feet, there was the feather. Feathers have become my thing for a while. And the crazy thing about it is I had been asking for a feather because I went through a phase where I was finding them often. I don't know what that is. I think my tea bag has busted open. I was finding them often. And then, which of course, I'm not outside as much as I used to be, or I work all the time. So I don't have as many opportunities to find them. And so I was really kind of getting disappointed that I hadn't found them in a while. Feathers and coins. And I have been finding more coins as well. So Cardinals. Like, have you ever been driving down the road and just out of nowhere, a red bird will fly out in front of your car? You're like, oh crap, I almost hit that bird. To me, that's a sign. They see us coming. And a lot of times, it may not always be a cardinal. For me, most of the time, it is a cardinal. I think that's my papa. But nonetheless, not my great papa, not my great grandfather, my papa. I think the red cardinals are him. But nonetheless, it's like they'll sit there and wait and they fly out in front of you on purpose. It's not like they don't see us coming. They may not know what a car is, but I mean, it's big and it's moving fast. It doesn't, you get it. Okay, namaste. Stress less. Last time we got water your body. And I actually I watched that video yesterday. I don't watch my videos often, but I did put it on and watch it. And when I was listening to it back, I kept hearing living water. So that's associated with Jesus, with scripture, um, feeding the soul, feeding the spirit, not just this physical body, watering the soul, watering the spirit. Everybody has their own ways of doing it. Like I've said it before in another video, my beliefs really are just a whole bunch mushed together because to me, there's a little bit of truth in all of it. That being said, I'm going to go turn off my heater really quick because I'm starting to get hot. It doesn't happen very often, but it got cold last night. I'm actually going to turn up my fan a little bit. Okay. Now, namaste. The more you learn, the better choices you can make as far as your beliefs. But I want to encourage everyone, don't stay in the box that you were put in. Make up your own mind. I did for a lot of my life. I just believed what I was raised to believe. I never looked outside of that box to see if I truly did believe it. Barefoot walk. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I love barefoot walking. I hate wearing shoes most of the time, unless my feet are cold. Do you remember what it feels like to have fresh grass between your toes? When was the last time you allowed your bare feet to touch the earth and feel everything underneath them? Give yourself a moment to walk barefoot. Invite all the sensations into your body. Walk slowly and calmly. Slow, calm movement that invites vulnerability, like walking barefoot, can help ground you in the moment. Feel your body relax into this exercise. Walking barefoot, sitting on the ground, not a chair, not